My brothers and sisters, I salute the God within you. It's been 100 years since a group that would come to be known as the Forum, the 70 or so people who met in Dr. Sadler's parlor at 533 Diversey Parkway in Chicago, first started reading the Urantia papers. That was February 11th, 1923, and it was called the Urantia Project. These adventurous souls would ask questions, search their hearts and minds for answers and for faith. And after thousands and thousands of hours of study and discussion and prayer, they were authorized to bring to publication the Urantia book. We stand on the shoulders of their amazing clarity, stamina, and courage. For us on this planet, it started 100 years ago. For me, it started about 50 years ago. It's been about 50 years since my father, Paul Snyder, opened the very first international conference for Urantia book readers with this greeting: brothers and sisters, I salute the God within you. At the time, he was president of Urantia Brotherhood, which became the same organization I represent today, the Urantia Book Fellowship. 50 years ago, we had only smaller regional gatherings. There just were not that many Urantia book readers. When we found one, we rejoiced. We still do. Back then, an international conference seemed almost impossible. 50 years ago, my mother looked everywhere for a flag or a banner we could hang on the conference podium. None existed. So she, with her 7 children, me included, all between the ages of 5 and 17 years old, took it upon herself to sew us this flag, this very flag, and we hung it at that very first conference. It was the first time the banner of Michael had flown on this planet as a flag, maybe ever. That was a pivotal time in our history. I want to read you a short excerpt from my father's last president's report in 1976. He wrote, "For half a century, more or less, the original leaders of the Urantia movement worked tirelessly and with tremendous loyalty and inspiring steadiness of purpose to serve the initial needs of the revelation. They brought the Urantia book to publication and then remained in leadership positions to ensure it was well-rooted in the soil of the human condition and growing vigorously. All of us who have discovered the revelation in more recent years owe them our lasting gratitude. It was a job well done. And now the time has come to look ahead, to form a general understanding of the next stage in organizational development of Urantia Brotherhood. And I think the fundamental characteristics of the next stage of growth are quite clear. The next stage in our organizational mission is to transform the Brotherhood from an essentially white, middle-class, Christianized American movement to the beginning of its larger destiny as a worldwide fellowship of believers. And this emerging fellowship must progressively embrace our brothers and sisters in every race, in every nation, and in every basic language, always distinct and separate from identification with other religious movements, but acting as an increasingly powerful leavening influence in every religion." So fast forward, in the 50 years or so since he wrote that, the Urantia book has been translated into 25 languages and has been sold or downloaded more than 1 million times all over the world. The first Korean translation was completed in 1999. Yet the Urantia book in any language is still the most unknown bestseller out there. But this is changing, and it's changing because of the God within. The first time I heard this, I salute the God within you, I couldn't quite understand the magnitude. The God within me? As a young child, that left me so puzzled. It left such an impression on me. How could that kind of power be part of me? Many languages and religions recognize the God within. Some call it a divine spark or an inner light. The solitary messengers called our thought adjusters divine gifts. Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you. We know it as our Father fragment. The Greeks called it entheos, the God within. Entheos is where we get the English word enthusiasm. Most people think enthusiasm is an outpouring of energy and optimism, and oftentimes it is. It's with such enthusiasm that I've made some of the biggest mistakes of my life. Enthusiasm clearly needs the balance of restraint. The God within practices restraint all the time. Every time he lets us fall, learn, lets us get up again, try again. The God within waits. He waits for us to grow, and he waits for us to grow at our own pace. One of the hallmarks of enthusiasm is its authenticity. It's the real thing. It's magnetic. When we sense the God within, we're naturally drawn to it. It has spirit gravity. The God within is the God of everything, and it's always breathing life into potential. That's what enthusiasm does. It energizes our thoughts and actions. The God within is like a battery. It gives us the energy and the attitude to do the work God would like us to accomplish if we choose his will and his path. He would never give us this work without also giving us a way to complete it. The Urantia book says that while we have free will, there is an ideal path, a perfect plan that our thought adjuster is trying to lead us upon, should we accept that leading. Paper 110 says it like this: when thought adjusters indwell human minds, they bring with them the model careers, the ideal lives. They begin work with a definite and predetermined plan for the intellectual and spiritual development of their human subjects, but it is not incumbent upon any human being to accept this plan. You are at full liberty to reject any part or all of the thought adjuster's program. It is their mission to effect such mind changes and to make such spiritual adjustments as you may willingly and intelligently authorize. They are persistent, ingenious, and perfect in their methods of work. Well, personally, I think one of the most persistent, ingenious, and perfect methods they use is to not protect us from the natural consequences of our decisions. Ouch. It gets our attention. It's how we learn to make better decisions and hopefully become increasingly like the God within. In paper 1, we learn that the Universal Father has given the supreme mandate, be you perfect, even as I am perfect. For my whole life, I have found that passage so intimidating, so impossible, that I've often said to myself, why even try? Only recently did I realize that in this lifetime, while I cannot hope to become perfect, maybe I can hope to become a perfect me, a perfect Sue. I can do my part to find that model career, that ideal life, that path that has so lovingly and mercifully been designed just for me. How can I do this? Prayer, worship, but also community. You, us, we are stronger together. You inspire me. You keep me focused. When I'm with you, gratitude fills me without me even thinking about it. What does this have to do with anything? Well, it has to do with our future. We each have an ideal roadmap inside and the power of entheos to travel the road. So 100 years ago was the beginning for us of the 5th epical revelation to our experimental planet. And 50 years ago, we dedicated ourselves to becoming a diverse and global organization that was open and welcoming to every one of God's children. Now we're looking ahead. What might the next 50 years hold for us? I believe the God within and all of the enthusiasm that comes with it will spread the Urantia book across the planet. I believe the Urantia movement is about to reach its tipping point, probably sooner rather than later, a point when it will seem like suddenly the whole world knows about this revelation. Most of us pray for that day, expecting it might be a time of enlightenment, and for some, maybe for many, it will be. But I also believe it will be a time of controversy and great testing for us. My question is, are we ready for this test? Are we building a community that others want to emulate? Can they look at us and see that we strive to live by higher values? Is the pursuit of God's will obvious in our lives? Are we yielding the fruits of the Spirit? Have we truly been transformed by the teachings in the Urantia book? Right now, the perceptions of the Urantia community suffer from some self-inflicted wounds. Those wounds are fractures, hard breaks in our community, and sometimes in our relationships. Those breaks, many of which are unhealed and festering as resentments and petty bickering, continue to cause friction and separation in what should be a loving and spiritual brotherhood and sisterhood. This is not a good look for us. While these internal divisions, both small and large, continue, our movement is steadily losing not only its initial momentum, but some credibility as well. It's demoralizing for those who have read and been inspired by the Urantia book to look at and listen to some of us and wonder, how can we expect to transform the world when we won't transform ourselves first? It hurts our credibility to hold on to past grievances. No one can truly read and understand even part of the Urantia book and think that that is harmonious with God's plans for us. Whether the problem exists in a large group, a small group, or a personal relationship, there's really no shame in the mistakes of the past. There will be more. The shame is in our failure to forgive. No matter what the disagreement, ugly words have been spoken by every side about the other, quite the opposite of truth, beauty, and goodness. We must end this today, together, and forever. The world is about to discover the Urantia book and will be taking a very close look at those who claim to follow its teachings. The decisions we make together have the potential to set us on a new path of growth and health. But progress, the watchword of the universe, will require a combination of boldness and wisdom. What would it take to join in solidarity for our social organizations to unite globally under the banner of Michael? The visible and fairly immediate benefits would be efficiency, less duplication of effort, less competition for event attendance, less competition for study group members, and donations. But what about the less visible benefits? The victory of overcoming wrongdoing with goodness, the benefits that permanently help your spirit, your heart, and your soul to grow. Some have said to me, we need to just wait for tempers to cool, memories to fade, or anger to die off. I reject those suggestions as passive and a little lazy. We're supposed to do the hard work. Where is our courage? Why would we just wait it out when there's a bigger victory that's waiting for us? Paper 48 says the greatest affliction of the cosmos is never to have been afflicted. Mortals only learn wisdom by experiencing tribulation. Well, that's true. The purpose of affliction, in my opinion, is to have a chance to achieve a bigger victory. And the bigger victory before us is forgiveness, real forgiveness, hard, but worth it. And if you don't believe me, just look at Jesus on the cross. It will take intention and a steady effort to turn around problems we have tolerated for years, to do the Father's will without caving into emotion and the attitudes that have become the mental poisons about which we have been warned in paper 110. They are fear, anger, envy, jealousy, suspicion, and intolerance, likewise tremendously interfere with the spiritual progress of the evolving soul. Forgiving tolerance, enduring peace, these are the fruits we must yield. We are stronger together. God placed us all at the beginning of this revelation when he would need what Christie called soldiers of the circles. As these soldiers, it's our job to be the advance team, to seed this revelation and nurture it so that the new seeds can take root in good soil and grow. We have to be the good soil. We have to cultivate good soil and make hard and barren soil fertile through tolerance, acceptance, friendship, and love. Those things are like water and sunlight. They give seeds a safe place to grow and thrive. Unity is so attractive. Like a magnet, it draws people into its cohesive power. This unhealed part of our history is an incredible opportunity to demonstrate that we walk our talk, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. We must look at all challenges as solvable, even if the solution is beyond our comprehension or desires. Imagine being part of a movement that has been strengthened by conflict and healed through love and forgiveness. What a powerful testimony to the rewards of choosing the Father's way. I invite you to join me in this fervent pursuit of a healed cosmic family, true brothers and sisters, united under and loyal to our Heavenly Father and his will, no matter what it takes, because the strong seeding of this revelation depends not on our ability to preach the gospel, but to prove the gospel. We are not alone. A host of celestial helpers stand ready to assist, and the Prince of Peace rules our universe, and God waits for us to choose. I bid you farewell for now. I hope you will remember that the DNA of the Urantia community forever contains the strength and clarity of the past, the courage and convictions of today, and if we so choose, can plant this revelation deep in good soil for future generations. I pray that you will take the nourishment and insights from this wonderful forum gathering and keep changing the world.